Okay, we're live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest. His name is Sean McCann, and he operates the Wake the Dead podcast. I talked to him back on February 21st, and we talked about The Order of Nine Angles, my book, Global Death Cult. And I had seen that he has done some occult analysis on films, and I've done some too. I think he was much more of a specialist of Kubrick. And you can watch his 3-hour analysis of Stanley Kubrick's occultism at Odyssey. And the title of it is Occult Kubrick and the Butterfly Net. So he goes in detail that. But I also saw he was on another show. I think maybe it was The Farm, where he was talking about the Ninth Gate. And I had done my research into the Ninth Gate for my film Occult Hollywood 2, which I can put in the show notes so people, if they were interested in watching that. But I definitely want to pick his brain. There's a lot about the movie that's very mysterious. And inside the movie, the players, the people who did the movie, there's just all kinds of occultism involved. So I'm delighted to have Sean McCann. Sean McCann, welcome to the show. Thanks for agreeing to the interview.
Thank you, William. I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Awesome. For people who don't know about your background, or your research, or podcast, just tell a little bit about yourself and then how your inquiry into the Ninth Gate started.
I guess I've always watched films growing up. Like, it's always been like, every like 3 or 4 movies a week we would watch just to pass the time, I guess, growing up as a family. And so I got to learn how films are built pretty much. Like, it came natural to me to be able, like, I would always be able to pick out like, oh, this is what's going to happen. And like, it became natural to me. And then, I got older, I became an anarchist, and I started to learn to go down the rabbit holes and understanding about natural law and like morality and the truth of the world and all of this. And then I go and look at movies again, and I'm like, holy crap, like, it's all there, and they're displaying things. And then I learn more about the programming that is television and film, and what they're doing to our minds, and that kind of it's an infinite rabbit hole. And it was really, it's been fun for me. And I've always loved Kubrick, and I'm a photographer as well. And because of that, I really soak in Kubrick, because he's a photographer and every frame is a perfect frame. And it's just such a beautiful thing to watch. And I would put it on in the background. I would like have the music off or something, and I would watch the frames, and I got to learn a lot about what he was tying in. Like, he would tie in, like he learned a lot. He would research so much before every film, and he would research all aspects of things, and he would tie them into the movie in other ways, in like subconscious ways, so that your subconscious mind picks up the message that's being put forward, and that augments the exoteric meaning of the film. So he really put it into business in The Shining. He studied subliminal advertising and the occult, and that sort of thing. He's always been into the occult, I guess, and he's been very close to the occult orders that make the films. And we can talk about maybe in another episode about Kubrick. I don't want to go down that road too far.
There's a lot there.
Yeah,
I just mentioned him the other day with the moon landing. So
right,
very interesting.
Yeah. And that's a fun little conspiracy to think about. But I mean, well, that'll take us way off track.
That's another tangent.
So like, I learned from Kubrick and from watching all kinds of bad movies. And I would watch lots of like MST3K and stuff, which is like people making fun of bad movies, and it's comedians. Like, so like they would make jokes about how silly or corny, or like, so I would be able to view from different perspectives, and then I would incorporate that into my understanding of, anyway. So like, I'd watch so much stuff. And I was on New York Patriots show. Actually, it wasn't The Farm. And
I apologize.
no, it's fine. And The Farm's a great show too. I listen to them. him. And so anyway, he asked me to take a look at The Ninth Gate because I did a recent, well, actually my first official podcast of or my first official interview on my show, Wake the Dead, was an interview with Mark Devlin, who is very interesting and knowledgeable.
Musical Truth, wasn't that his
yes,
series?
Musical Truth.
I've talked to Mark. I talked to Mark when I worked for him. Yeah.
That's great. You should talk to him again. He just had another book out, Musical Truth 3. And you know, he gets into way more, and he even talks about Kubrick in that book. He brings into other elements, but so yeah, we talked about Rosemary's Baby, and he knows a lot about the Beatles and Rosemary's Baby as well, and we went through and did this we picked it apart and we looked at all the different things, and we found many things that no one's ever really mentioned before, like the books on the shelf, or the different, the statues and the paintings and stuff. And these are all elements when you watch a film, if they incorporate artwork or books, look at the titles, figure out what the artwork is, because that usually is meant to augment the story. It's meant to, it has information in it. And a lot of good directors will do this kind of thing. With things
the ones in Rosemary's Baby are Kinsey and the Black Satanist. What was his name?
Oh yeah. It was Yes I Can by Sammy Davis Jr.
Good.
Yeah. And Yes I Can is actually what Obama said. And then if you turn that backwards, it says, "Thank you, Satan." It's really funny. You can hear that from Freeman Fly's podcast. He talked about that. But anyway, we don't need to go there.
But I mean, what you're stating is that there's so much in these films, the details, especially Kubrick, who's super meticulous, totally detail oriented. There's things in there that they're relating references to occult. I mean, there's all. I mean, Eyes Wide Shut. We can do another show on Eyes Wide Shut because the whole thing is off the charts. So anyway.
Yes, Eyes Wide Shut. It just a little teaser for people that are listening. It has nothing to do with the guy. The main character. The main character is not the guy. The main character is Alice. She is a trauma-based mind control victim of satanic ritual abuse. And she is a mind control slave, a beta sex kitten mind control slave, like Marilyn Monroe was, like many of the pop stars are today. She was used as a breeder to create the next generation of their slaves. Wow. And that's what the movie is depicting.
That's crazy. And all the mirrors and stuff. And then at the end, that little girl walks off with the two creeps from the party, the original party.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. Yeah. The little girl gets kidnapped at the end, and she has a fate just like her mother. And her mother is a total mind control slave. She's not doing her will. She married Bill to have a warm family to raise their butterfly. And then until it's old enough to be stolen, basically. And because he stumbled into their ritual and basically is stirring the pot and becoming a dangerous to them, they're like cutting their ties and they're just taking that baby out of there because he's obviously a problem. They're just taking her now.
And even at the end, there's the magic circle game. There's actually a symbol of sex magic in the back that comes from Crowley. There's a huge kind of phallic symbol going into that circle. It comes right off the devil tarot card for McCrowley. Yes, so I know some of that stuff. It's super intense. It's off the charts. Like
that's on the red wall directly behind her, and it's like it's an octagon. It's a yellow octagon, and in the center of it is an obelisk, which holds up the center, and it's like a Ferris wheel, like a toy Ferris wheel, but it's shaped like an octagon, and the octagon is an occult symbol for mind control. Wow. Total mind control slavery. And if you look, the way that the camera is angled, that is directly behind her head. And while she's talking to Bill and the thug that's going to steal the daughter passes by, it's like directly behind her head, as if it's passing through her head into the camera. Right, like an alignment.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So that's like occupying her brain space,
And
So
they're
it's
all
like,
she's like
yeah,
the Scarlet Woman too, right? Everybody has red hair.
yes.
So there's
Yes,
all
they
kinds of
do.
themes to that. Yeah.
Even the daughter has red hair. Helena
Right.
does
So
too.
that's also kind of
Yeah.
symbolic and
Yes.
actually kind of plays into maybe some of this stuff. But yeah, no, that's super. And Kubrick knew so much. Even going back to Lolita, there's
Right.
all kinds of symbolism in Lolita that he's
Yes.
using. And there are allegations about him flat out being a pedophile that he
I know.
was. Yeah. So
Well, I don't know if I believe that. I've only seen one allegation, and it's a blind item,
right, it's a blind item.
which doesn't have any way of proving it to be true. It's fake names, it's totally imaginary. So it's tough for me to believe it because he took his family away from Hollywood. He knows who they are. He worked with, Arthur C. Clarke, who's a known pedophile, who moved to Sri Lanka so that he could bugger children for the rest of his life.
At a ping pong place
Yeah,
too, which
yeah.
ties into the symbolism of that's
Exactly.
inside of
Yes.
like
There's
inside of
actually
Lolita. So like you see that all the way to Comet Ping
right.
Pong.
They play Roman ping pong. And what are Romans famous for doing? Buggering little children. You know what I mean? He's wearing his toga. And that supposedly that was not scripted and it was just coming out of Sellers' mouth. But I don't know if Sellers knew what was going on. And, a lot of times Kubrick will let the actors just go and he'll pick out what he wants. He'll just roll a lot of film. He's famous for just shooting and shooting and shooting. And that way he's able to pick out those moments which are like synchronicity, and he can add those to the film. So I think that he was encouraging Sellers to do this, but I don't know if it was exact coming from Kubrick. But in any case, the ping pong table was meant to be there. They're playing
Yeah,
ping
it's
pong.
very telling. Like you'd have to
Right.
be in the pedo underground to
Right.
know the symbology of that.
Yes. So that's exactly what that movie does. It is speaking to the pedo underground. And that movie is connected to Eyes Wide Shut. The next film he wanted to do after Lolita was Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, I didn't
And
know that. Huh?
yeah, it took many years for him to get it together and do it. I think that's because he knew what he was doing and he wanted to get some other films out before they killed him.
Before it got to the end. Yeah, he
Yeah,
mysteriously died at the end. So like this film that you're seeing on the screen, 1999,
right.
Eyes Wide Shut, 1999, Fight Club, 1999. There's an Arnold Schwarzenegger called like I think End of Times that foreshadows 9/11.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, at End of
Yeah.
Days, 1999, man. They
Right.
had the timing down
Yes.
off the charts.
I think that's because they planned their new world order to be the year 2001. I think 2001 was the opening of their new world order and the taking down of the towers of the twin towers was the opening of their new age, the new aeon of
Horse.
Horus. Yeah, right. Exactly. And so like they this was planned and all of them were getting out there, party like it's 1999, they're getting it all the 99, all the evil satanic stuff. And 9 is a satanic number. It's so like it only makes sense that they would do that in 99. And
Right. So it's all
a,
there.
a funny thing, Rosemary's Baby, the only other like occult movie that Polanski did, was put out in 67, but the movie was set in 66 and they call it year 1. And 66 in San Francisco is where the Church of Satan was, on Beltane or Walpurgisnacht, May 1st or whatever, was the beginning of the Church of Satan. And they called that year 1. And if you count from 66 to 99, that's 33 years. And if you think about it, I know this is kind of a stretch, but did Corso, the main character here, Johnny Depp, look like he was about 33 years old?
Yeah, right.
Maybe. I mean, is he an extension of that evil baby that was born? And like, if you think about Jesus made it to 33 years, and then he ascended into heaven with his body intact, just like this guy walked into the light with his body intact.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of weird similarities there. And I just wanted to
Right.
mention that.
But it's the
talking about the
opposite. This is like the opposite of
anti.
the Pilgrim's Progress. It's a
Yes.
satanic progress
Yes.
to satanic enlightenment at the very end.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's off the
Like
charts.
the apotheosis of the satanic man.
Yes.
And we learn through in the very beginning of this film, we learn that Corso is the most satanic of all. He has no care for anyone. Let's
Totally
see.
materialistic, cares about money,
Yes.
cheats. Yeah.
Yeah. Whitkin, this other book dealer, points at him with one eye closed, which is like the Masonic one eye, like an enlightened person that's telling the truth. And he's standing on the checkerboard floor at the time that he's pointing, and he points it at this guy Corso, and he says, unscrupulous, thoroughly unscrupulous, because he basically stole these books from an invalid, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew it was wrong, and he took advantage like a vulture. The guy calls him, "You're a vulture. You'd stoop to anything."
Right? You would do anything, right?
Yes.
And that's actually a concurrent theme, because in the next scenes when he meets up with Boris Balkan, which is a 56, they say the same thing: do anything you can, and it reestablishes Corso as a kind of do what thou wilt, only care about himself sociopath.
Exactly.
Because in their interplay, I don't care. I don't have to be nice to you. You're just my client. You pay me well. So he's laying the groundwork of like the total satanic ethos of himself.
Exactly. Yeah. The true Satanist. And this guy doesn't have like ritual ceremonial magic. He doesn't listen to death metal. He wears a suit and he steals from invalids, and he's a cutthroat vulture, just like the people that run our society, the bankers. And like this is a perfect depiction of a Satanist. And this Satanist is, at the end of the movie, it's the apotheosis of this Satanist. He doesn't have to, he gets to skip over all of the moral lessons of living this life, and he gets to go, go straight past, goes past go and collects his $200,
Right. But that's like the weird thing, because basically the female is following him from the very beginning when he walks into that witch talk by Boris Balkan, right? 56, basically the macrocosm, microcosm, pentagram, hexagram. There it is again. Like Tyler Durden or Harry Potter, Boris Balkan. And then he goes, and there's that woman who follows him, and that's one of the big mysteries of the whole film. Like, what is this thing following him around? It's because he was selected to go through these steps and reach satanic apotheosis. Godhood.
Exactly. Like they kind of make these jokes along the way that this book summons the Prince of Darkness.
Right.
And then every time someone reads from the book, Corso shows up. It's like a little joke that and at the end he's like, "What are you expecting, an apparition?" Because he's reading, like in the end before he burns, Balkan is reading the pages, and then Corso shows up. So like basically Corso is the Prince of Darkness. He is chosen. And so all of these other people are just there to help him on his journey of understanding, and he has to have the will to want to pass through the gate. They have to, like the Babylon whore witch has to convince him that he wants to go through this ritual and to become like God, as they say.
The final act is him portraying The Woman Rides the Beast ritual by Aleister Crowley. He becomes the beast, and she's the woman, and that's part of the satanic book with the etchings, or whatever you call them, the things. That's one of the scenes, right? The engravings. She's there, and he's in the place of the beast. So he literally he becomes something like Crowley or the occult, or comes from it, is like he becomes the beast and goes through and passes through at the very end. But there's a lot of steps before that, right? And there's a lot of foreshadowing, because when he's with Boris Balkan, in the background is the temple / castle that they will both make it to. Yeah.
So let's talk about that castle. So like when we step down into Boris Balkan's satanic library, he stands in front of this painting. And like I said earlier, if you see any paintings, you want to look at them, see what they're all about, you know, if you're trying to understand a movie. So I did that with this, and I learned that it is a real castle. It's a real Cathar castle. Yes. It's called the Chateau de Puivert, Puivert. And it's in France. Yes, it's in France, the Aude, Aude department of France. It's former Cathar country. And in 1170, the castle belonged to the Congost family, Congost, and before the Albigensian Crusade. And these lords practiced Catharism and were accused as heretics. They were destroyed because they were heretics by the Catholic Church. And Catharism is a Gnostic idea, and it has two deistic principles. They believe that there were two aspects of God, a good God of the New Testament, which was the creator of the spirit realm, the spiritual realm, and an evil God of the Old Testament, which was the creator of the physical world, and whom many Cathars identified as Satan. So this dual God was thought of as anti-monotheism, so the Catholic Church killed them all because it was not, but you know,
it's a heresy. It's heretical.
Right, exactly. So they believed that that human souls were sexless spirits of angels trapped in the material realm of the evil God, destined to be reincarnated until they've achieved salvation through the consolamentum, consolamentum. And it's a form of baptism performed when death is imminent, when they can return to the good God. And basically they stop eating milk and they stop eating eggs because their fertility. And because this is a trapping, this world is an evil trap, they are anti-fertility. So they don't eat eggs, or they do eat fish, which is weird. So they become pescatarian at the end of life, and they wear like certain robes, and they get certain blessings by priests to try to absolve them of all of their engagement in life, because you know, being a human, you're going to have babies and you're going to live life and engage in the world, the physical realm of the evil God. And at the end, you want to kind of make up for that and atone for your engagement in the world, to like cleanse your spirit so that you can leave this place and not be reincarnated again. Wow. That's the idea. Wow. And so basically the raising up of the spirit is what is happening to Corso, right? Apparently, we would imagine. And another thing about this painting, if you look, you have it up on screen here. There's the sun is up in the left corner, and it's darkened. And then there's another source of light coming from behind the castle, which is a white light. And the sun is like a darkened black sun on the left side, you know, like the left-hand path. And behind the castle is the true light, I guess, of Lucifer, as they say.
Right. And there's constant themes in there, and the engravings and stuff.
The engravings are important too.
Super important. They tell just so many different stories. Let me see if we can bring some of these up. But like he touches 666 here. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Let's see. The let's see. Oh yeah, another thing about the witch, when he meets the witch at the place, we focus on her socks, and they're like different colored socks, and they're kind of striped, and it's reminiscent of the Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch of the West when you look at her socks, you know.
Right. One is blue and one is red, right?
Yeah.
And do
And
you
like,
know that the actual author of this film isn't named? It's a fake name.
oh wait, what do you mean?
Yeah,
The
go
author
look it
of
up online. Like the guy who supposedly wrote this isn't a real name. It's a fake name. It's a pseudonym for somebody. So we don't even know who wrote this.
I must have missed that. There's El Club du Mas, which is the book.
See, it's based on a real book.
Right, El
But
Club
I
du
think
Mas.
that the interpreter of that book is a
You're the
fake name. If I
screenwriter.
remember correctly, I could be wrong.
I'll have to look that up. Thanks for that.
I could be wrong.
So the I guess the first engraving
I have
is
these.
at
I have
15
these.
minutes and 25 seconds. If you wanted to cut to that on the film,
What is it? What's the number?
15 minutes and 25 seconds. And I know it's tough. Like, yeah. So this is them in Boris's library, and they're looking at the book. See, and so it's a rider on horseback, a knight, and he's plumed, you know, he's special or whatever. And underneath there's a Latin phrase, and they speak it out. So this makes us think that, okay, these Latin phrases, the engravings, like what's underneath the engraving in Latin, is important. And they read it aloud. It says, silence is golden. And the knight is doing the sign of Harpocrates with the one finger over his lips going shush. And that's part of the occult, the path of the occult. You have to keep silent, to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent, or like, you know, that's the way or whatever. And so he's starting
back to Eliphas Levi. That's the Eliphas Levi. That's actually the doctrines of the magician.
Yes,
is to know, to will, to dare.
Yes, and so this he's starting on the path, and this engraving is very similar to a tarot card. The way that the engraving is,
even the shape, the dimensions, right?
Yes, exactly. And it has a number on it, and it has what looks like a Hebrew letter, which is just like the tarot cards, which, you know, that way it has, you know, the image means something. And if you look into each one, you will find that there are tarot images depicting tarot ideas in the cards. Like one of them has the Wheel of Fortune, another one has the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man one also has the Burning Tower. And that relates to the end of the movie where Balkan is in the tower of this castle and flames are popping out of the windows. It's just like what's in the frame of the engraving. And when the Hanged Man relates to Bernie's death, Bernie is our Corso's friend who's a book dealer, and Bernie opens the book and he looks at that engraving, and then like a couple scenes later he's hanging like the man in the picture.
Wow, that's crazy. So it just comes back. It's right. Let's see if I can find that scene.
Oh, I can. I got the.
It's right. Right here. There he is.
2713. Yes, and he's hanging, and
he's hanging like the hangman. Yeah,
exactly. He has one foot hanging, and the other foot is crossed with the other leg, and that has many occult meanings to it. You know, in some tarot, his foot is connected to the egg with the snake. I forget the name of that.
Right.
Orphic egg.
Oh, the Ouroboros.
Oh yeah, well the Ouroboros is in this too. Right. There's an Ouroboros in one of the other engravings. The main title page, it says sic. It says sic luxiet lux, and that means thus let the light shine. And it's a Yggdrasil tree with a serpent wrapped around the trunk of the tree like a double helix.
Right. He sees that in that library, right?
Yes. It's at 23,
like right here.
23 minutes. Yeah. 23 even. and it's a double helix, and it's also so it's 3 times around the tree, and it eats its own tail. It's the Ouroboros, and and you'll also see that in this image, lightning strikes one of the branches, and it breaks one of the branches loose from the tree. So, like, the light of Lucifer breaks loose a branch of the tree of life. Like there's somebody who, this 9th gate is like to break free of the tree. It's like how to break loose of this prison of life, I guess, because we're all, the way that family trees are built. If you can sever your branch and not be connected anymore, that is like the goal of the Satanist, to remove.
Well, here's
yourself.
my interpretation of this, because I've seen it used before. It's in the beginning of Don Simpson. Don Simpson was a producer. What was the other guy he used to work with? It was Simpson and Bruckheimer. Watch the intro to all the Bruckheimer films, because it has the lightning hitting the tree. So it's a satanic symbol, but the Satanist twist, and even Leary does this, and a lot of the occultists, they twist the meaning of the Bible from the tree of knowledge of good and life to just the tree of knowledge. So that the lightning is the symbol of Satan touching the tree of knowledge for human beings. So he becomes a Prometheus. Satan is like similitude into Prometheus, the bringer of light or fire to humanity.
Right.
So I think that part is partially what this symbolism is. But that's definitely an Ouroboros. I mean, it's the snake touching. I think it also represents like reincarnation or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Like, and I mean, the Ouroboros is like speaking itself into existence. A lot of people think that it's eating its own tail, but really it's speaking it out. Like it's being born through the word. And that's like abracadabra, like to create what you say,
This movie is so heavy. It's really just like an occult training manual almost.
Yeah.
Like if you are an occultist, you're like, oh yeah, then I do that next. And I have to be like really psychopathic and selfish, sociopath.
Right. Yeah. And it's okay, like moral relativism. It's okay if I am unscrupulous and a vulture, because I can still achieve godness, and that I don't have to do the laws of the creator. I can just bypass all that shit. And like Jesus.
I mean, that's really the thing. There's no God but man. That's Crowley's dictum. And all the Satanists is ye shall be as God. So they take that at face value. That's the satanic value, is that you are a living God. Right. Even that Joker E.A. Coetting, that's the whole foundation of his training manual, is become a living God.
I mean, and that's, I mean, if you think about it, like, and we talked about it in my show, like how those types of ideologies are a net to ensnare a certain type of person, and if you think about it, like, it takes a really self-centered, narcissistic, egomaniac to really gravitate towards that shit, and excuse my language, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But you make a good point. It's interesting. If you look at Crowley's life work as an exemplar of like somebody who's been in the occult, he abused his followers. He manipulated them. He made them give him money. He was just terrible to people who were there to get knowledge from him, and he told people to get he would abuse his girls. He told one guy, to fulfill the great work, you have to get an insurance policy with me as the beneficiary, and then you go kill yourself.
Oh my God! Yeah. Really? I never heard that one.
He really said that to somebody.
Jesus.
Yeah. So he was terrible. So I think.
Yeah. Wow.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. They're farming for people. There's no question. Some
exactly.
People go different ways.
Yeah. So like this is exactly the type of thing that would entice somebody like Corso, because Corso is an unscrupulous vulture, and Boris Balkan is an egomaniac, but he doesn't have the creativity that Corso does. Like, he hires Corso to figure out the meaning of the engravings and what, because he can't do it himself. He's not smart enough. He hires somebody else. So the person who gets through the gate is the person that figures out the plan and walks the path. So that's what that path was in front of the knight who had his finger on his lips. He's saying, don't tell anyone, but this is the path that you're going to walk to get, to the end.
To that castle, and it ends up in the castle, right?
Right. Wow. There's the castle at the end of the path, right? And so if you understand about the tarot is the path of the fool. It's not really a divining object. It's like a book of symbols, and the major arcana is separate from the minor arcana in that it tells the path of a soul going from the fool to the world, and like understanding the growth of the human soul and like being in life. It tells the stages of life and the path of the fool, it's called. I guess I can't really describe it too well, but I'm sure your listeners know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so if we can understand that these are in a sense a satanic tarot, and he's walking the path of the satanic fool, right? It's the path of the soul away to break off of the tree, not to ascend the tree to heaven, the tree of life. It's to break loose of it and become free, I guess, and and to be able to divine your own future, and to be so much of an egomaniac that you can become your own god. You know what I mean? So like he walks the path of these engravings, like the one where the hanged man, the engraving or the words underneath it say, "I am enriched by death." And then at the moment where Bernie gets hanged, Corso's like, "I've had too much." And he goes to a payphone and he calls Balkan and says, "I quit." And Balkan says, "How about you add another 0 to the amount of money that I'm going to pay you?" And he says, "Oh, okay." And he stays on the path and he keeps going for money. So he was enriched by the death of his friend. And then further, when the burning tower happens, when Balkan burns and then he gets the pages, he was enriched by Balkan's death. And in the end, he has to kill Balkan. He shoots him with a gun. I mean, I guess it's out of sympathy because of all the pain that he's going through, or that Balkan is enduring, being lit on fire and dying. But the ritual requires a death, and it requires a copulation with this Babylon whore, so he's doing all the acts of the cards. There's another card like this one here that's in front of us. It's the fool. He's got his little pack, he's got his stick with his little bundle of the cloth with whatever belongings in it, and he's walking the path. And then above is an arrow. It's an angel with an arrow, so that's like a cherubim. And if you are familiar with the tarot, that is, I think that's on the Lover's card.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
So basically, and the face of the guy who's pulling the arrow is the same face as the twins, the Sinisa brothers
that he's talking to right now.
Exactly. So the Sinisa brothers are also angels, or demons, whatever, that are to help his path along the way, to help him, to give him the clues, just like how the whore of Babylon witch is also there to help him on his path, like, because her face is also in the book. Her face is the one. Yes, see the Lover's card on Crowley.
That's his Crowley's, yeah.
Yes, and so you recognize people that are familiar with tarot and familiar with the occult. When they see this movie, those things bubble into our subconscious. We recognize this stuff, and then we can decipher what is actually happening You know, we can see, oh, this is a tarot. These are tarot. This is the path of the fool. Okay, it's like the satanic path, right? And the tarot can be laid upon the tree of life. I think it's on the paths, maybe between the Sephiroth, and that relates to the path of ascending the tree. So it describes the path of ascension, but this is a different path of ascension. This is a satanic path.
Right.
So we are meant to learn and understand. That's funny. It's like winking as I said satanic.
So this
path.
is the guy from John. This is the supposed author of who I thought was fake. His name is John Brown John. I don't know if it's a real name or not, but this is supposedly a guy who worked with Polanski.
And he's got the one eye.
He's got the one eye. He's doing it deliberately. He's definitely in that.
And he's in the jungle.
World.
Yeah. He's behind the leaves, like he's hiding in the jungle, like a beast. Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, there's so much in this movie. I mean,
right.
We can get back.
It's very much that you'll see something, and then you can dig into that one little symbol, and it'll give you a whole depth of understanding, and it'll bring you down a rabbit hole. And that's where Kubrick is a master at that, because the rabbit holes that he gives you are like real. You know, he gives you a ping pong table, and then it takes us 30, or well, not 30 years, but 20 something years before we recognize, oh, ping pong means pedophilia. Oh, and it's two pedophiles talking about this girl that they want to steal. Like we don't learn in Lolita that it's about pedophiles until like halfway through the movie, or first third of the movie, you know. And I'm sorry, and Lolita connects to Eyes Wide Shut in visual elements that we can talk about in another podcast. But those two movies are related, just like how Rosemary's Baby is related to this one. I think that he reuses certain elements of the occult. So also, okay, so they're walking the path, and or he's walking the path, and he's learning that so one of the engravings says, here I'll say what the engravings say. They are all numbered, and each one I'll go in order. Number 1, silence is golden. Number 2, they open that which is closed. Number 3, the last word keeps the secret. Number 4, fate is not the same for all. Number 5, in vain. Number 6, I am enriched by death. Number 7, the disciple surpasses the master. Number 8, virtue lies defeated. And number 9, now I know that from darkness comes light. That is the path. So
that Corso is on, that Depp is on.
Exactly. So as he goes along, like the one, they open that which is closed, that relates to when he goes to see Kessler, who is
the lady or whatever,
lady with the arm. She has a amputated arm, and she describes how she was in this dark occult.
Again, I just saw.
Right? Yeah, and in that moment, like she was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Get out of town,
dude! I swear that was related to Charles Manson. And Charles Manson read that book and popularized that book. And Charles Manson killed Polanski's wife, in quotes. If she died, I don't know. It could just be a whole thing.
It's really crazy because they were networked. I mean, I think that the insiders knew he and her were.
She's Polanski's wife. Yeah. She is Polanski's wife.
This is the new wife, right?
Yes. So it's even more ironic that his new wife is reading that book, like, because his old wife was murdered by the guy who reads that book.
Right, but it's so strange. She was in a movie just before she got killed called, what was it, Evil Eye or Magic Eye, where she's talking about magic and occultism, and has all kinds of it's just rife with occultism. There's all kinds of mirrors and all kinds of stuff.
I need to see that film. I think I downloaded it already, but I think she was a sacrifice or something. And
something was just there's something deeper that they're covering up. I think they were in the occult underground of one thing or another.
Right. And if you think about the Manson murders, that was planned. That whole thing, like you got after the Manson murders, there was that whole serial murder phenomenon
Right.
of the 70s, like the Night Stalker and Ted Bundy, and all these people were killing all of those hippies that traveled over in 67 who are now like drug users on the streets, easy victims for these murderers that are trauma-based mind control victims of the dark occult that work for the government. Like Michael Aquino used trauma-based mind control to program super soldiers for the military, and that's what he was doing at the Presidio with those children. Like they rape children for a purpose, not only because they're sick pedophiles. They do it to affect the brains of the children, to traumatize them and make them dissociate and have multiple personality disorder. So that's who the Night Stalker is. Like these people are programmed with this berserker programming that they can be triggered like a Manchurian Candidate and go do violence. And we see that in the modern day, like James Holmes, the guy that shot up the Batman movie.
Right.
After he shot up the movie, he goes in his car and he sits and waits to be arrested.
Right.
It's just programming. It's just programming. And then in court, he just sits there like on drugs, drooling.
Exactly. But what's really scary about that guy, James Holmes, is that he's like teaching a neuroscience class, totally lucid, kind of just talking with people. And something happened to him. His brain.
Oh,
next thing you know, he's taking a.
Was his mother or somebody? Somebody was putting him through psychotherapy. I forget exactly what that was, but
that's probably.
I remember he was going through some psychotherapy. Exactly. He's like a Sirhan, and these people.
I wish you could hear this, but this is her saying, "Do you believe in magic?"
Yes.
She goes, "Do you believe in magic?" Like she's like literally saying that. Like this is 67, 68.
Right. Yeah.
That was my documentary from 2019. So I had some of the stuff about Polanski, not all.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, and it keeps unfolding like an onion. You know what I mean? What I did like my Kubrick presentation, there's more that I've learned now that since then, you know what I mean? It keeps unfolding. So like I didn't even think about how this movie connects to Rosemary's Baby. It's 33 years. And I looked up how old, I think he was 36. Corso, the actor, Johnny Depp, was like 36 or something. But it's close enough to pass as a 33-year-old.
No question, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's kind of what's deceiving about this is he looks so young and uncorrupted, but the whole narrative is just as dark as it gets. Yeah. And it's fascinating, like his life outside of this, he's associating with just some of the darkest people, Marilyn Manson,
Damien Eccles,
just like
gross. And like what he did to his finger, I guess. Like Tracy Twyman talked about how, I'm sorry, I'm bringing her up again, but she talked about Johnny Depp, how he got in a fight with his girlfriend or something, and he amputated the end of his finger. And I guess that when they sewed it back together, they made it look like a penis. And so like, if you are going through certain occult rituals, they require you to amputate your genitals. But if you amputate a finger, that will suffice and you can keep your genitals. So like when we look at, what's his face? The guy that worked for Hillary Clinton. And he had like...
John Podesta?
John Podesta. He had that picture of his... And you could see his hands were all mangled. They were really just messed up. Exactly. Because of those are all of the rituals that he's done in the past, like this, the evidence.
And that's what she talks about it, that witch. I mean, a literal witch, that Abramovich girl talks about eating the pain on your finger, all kinds of weird occult stuff. So
exactly. Yeah. So that okay. So I guess we don't have to get into each one, but like the cards relate to what is happening in Corso's path. Like after he goes through, and the books that he's following, they all end up being burned. It's like natural law wants to burn these things, like they're destined for the fire. And and when in the beginning, when Corso is stealing that book from the Don Quixote book from that family, he stands next to a painting of a burning figure that's on fire and kind of like
Right there, yeah, in the back, right.
Yeah, right there, exactly. It's in flames, and it's in front of, and its hand is gesturing at the drinks, like, here, have a drink, and the fires of hell. It's really interesting. And he's taking that painting, he's like putting his pack on. It's as if he's taking that painting on his shoulder.
Right.
He's shouldering that. That is his future of where he's going.
Right, that's his perspective. Wow.
Right. And you can see in other, like, further on, there's when he goes into the woman Kessler.
Oh yeah, let's see if
When he goes into her apartment or building, there's a painting of, there's a painting as he walks in of of the Notre Dame on fire. No, that's Notre Dame on fire is in Rosemary's Baby. This one is like a burning volcano, but it's like more fire in the painting. And he uses his creative wit and words to open that which is closed. And
wow, that's a lantern too. So they're putting all kinds of occult stuff right there. That's in one of the tarot cards.
Oh yeah, right. The hermit, right. And so, like, the one that they open that which is closed, it's his words open, because, like, she doesn't want him to come in, and he says, "Oh, I have a gift for you. Would you let me show that to you?" And then the door opens, it buzzes, and it opens. So, like, he's using his wit and ingenuity to open that which is closed, and he uses his words, and, like, the last word keeps the secret. And silence is related to speaking, and that's a lot of what magic is saying words.
Right.
Making
incantations to get things done, right?
Yes, spelling. Like, and it's like creating a vibration.
And also manipulation. So manipulating to get things done.
Yeah, there's the volcanoes. Yeah. And he's in the frame. His head is in the frame of the volcanoes, and she just passes through. So anyway, she says that this is Kessler, and she says that she's in love with the devil. She saw him, and it was love at first sight. She dedicated her whole life to him, and she joined this order that is a occult order that venerates Torquia, the writer of the Ninth Gate, the book, and they do sex magic, and she she says that she quit doing that, and she took her book away because she has a disagreement with them. But in any case, they're describing this sex magic, ceremonial magic, and the name of the order is the Silver Serpent, which is very much like the Silver Star of Aleister Crowley. And he also does Astrum Argentum, exactly. Yeah, and this one, I forget what the name is, but it's a Latin name also, which means silver serpent. And silver relates to the moon, which is the opposite of the sun, which is the darkness and the dark sun, I guess, or whatever, the evil path, the left-hand path, right. Whereas the sun working with the sun is the right-hand path. Like, if you have an altar and you're doing your circumambulations around the altar, where you're walking around the altar and doing your you're saying your words. If you have the altar to your right hand, that's the right hand path. And that makes you go around the altar in a clockwise fashion, because in ancient days, they used a sundial, and the shadow on the sundial goes in a clockwise fashion. So that means if you're going clockwise, that means you're working with the power of nature, with the sun. You're going along with the order of the wheel of life. And if you go left-hand path, that means you're going counterclockwise around your altar. And that's working, it's called widdershins. It's a Scottish term. And it's working against the will of life. And it's working against nature. So that's what that left-hand, right-hand path represents. And that's so, like, if you look at some of the engravings, the keys is in the left hand, and then in the other engraving, one of the elements of this film is that some of the engravings are created by Lucifer, according to the story, and the other ones are
fake, right?
Fake, right.
Yeah.
So in order to get all 9 engravings by Lucifer, you have to have all 3 books, and that way it keeps the truth and the path enough of a secret so that not everybody can just be passing through this gate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if if the Order of the Silver Star could ascend through the gate, they would have by now, because they've been doing these dark ceremony rituals every year for many years, and nothing happens. That's why Boris Balkan has hired him to figure out why the book actually doesn't work. So because Balkan wants to ascend, and this here, she has her blood, and she marks his head with what's seemingly like the way that Cain was marked before he went into the Badlands or whatever. She takes her blood and anoints him on his third eye, right where the Hindus get that little dot on their forehead.
Right. This is like a full-on blood ritual right here. And,
yes.
And believe it or not, Depp has had this happen to him in another movie by, I can't remember his name. I will find it. But this is actually repeated in a new Star Wars too. So it's
Really?
Bereshith or something like that. This has a deep occult meaning, dude.
Really?
I don't know fully what it means, but
you know the name?
Watch this.
Again?
What's the movie with Depp where he's traveling in a canoe?
Dead Man. Yes, Dead Man. That's a Jim
up,
Jarmusch movie. I love that.
Thank you.
Jim Jarmusch is
Dead
amazing.
Man Depp. Watch this.
Yeah. He takes the blood of a deer.
The same thing. He has the same thing eventually and puts it on his face.
Right.
I have to find it.
Yeah, I think that the deer represents like the death of an innocent, and like he's relating to the deer because he's dying, like he's dead in that movie. It's his path of death, going westing or whatever. Like that movie's really good. There it
is. Yeah.
I love Jim Jarmusch. Yeah. And yeah, he puts the blood on his face, almost like becoming more in tune with the beast.
But there's a scene somewhere where you can see that it's
right. It's like 3 lines.
Forehead. Yeah. I just can't find it. I can't find it right now.
Right. And yeah, that's a great that movie is great. Everybody should watch Dead Man. And the director is fantastic also. Watch every Jim Jarmusch movie you can find. It's great. Yeah, he's a real artist.
Interesting.
So let's see. She anoints him. He kills Balkan. He does the sex magic. He is the beast. And in the picture, she's the whore of Babylon, obviously riding the beast with 9 heads, 7 heads. I don't know if it's 9 or 7. I forget. But, and then behind them, the gate opens, and then he's able to walk through the gate and with his pages. And Boris Balkan, he says mumbo jumbo when these people are like doing in their robes at the San Martin castle.
Right. Yes.
And coincidentally, the castle, San Martin, where they are right now, that is the same building that Kubrick filmed the Eyes Wide Shut ritual.
Oh,
and
wow.
It used to be owned. It was built by Rothschild family and was sold in the 1800s to the English monarchy, I think, or I forget. Maybe it was a lord family. And it became the first portrait gallery in England, like the first really portrait gallery ever. And in Eyes Wide Shut, the portraits are a main element. And you'll learn that if you see my presentation. I'll talk about it on your show later.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah,
signed up. Consider it done. We'll just
great.
arrange it right after this.
Great. That's great. So yeah, 99 the same year and in the same castle, basically.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And there's that symbol that you showed earlier, the tree with the snake.
Yes,
swirling
yep.
around snake.
The Ouroboros, the silver snake, and you can see it's silver, and the tree trunk there is gold, or brass or what, bronze. And,
But I always interpreted this scene. Do you know how I interpreted it? Was these were the fake Satanists, right? Isn't that what
yes,
Boris Balkan is saying?
yes,
That
that's why
you're
he's saying mumbo jumbo.
pseudo-Satanists.
Right.
Right. And it's the same. It's really interesting because when I was talking to you about Global Death Cult, that's what Maya's saying to Aquino. You guys
Yes.
aren't even real. We're the real ones.
Right.
And so it's like you see, this is obviously, fictional, but it's telling true stories from the satanic thing,
Like Kubrick was showing the ones in the dark, in the dark robes. They were doing real magic, but really they were just trying to, a lot of them were just trying to get their rocks off, and it's like fun to see naked women and big orgies and stuff. And you can tell that they're debased, like with Ziegler, the guy that's friends with Alice and Bill, like he's totally debased. Like the hooker in his bathroom, he finishes having sex with her before he calls for the doctor. You know what I mean? Like he buttons up all finished, like, and then he takes care of her, medical emergency. So like we know that these people really all they want is just carnal pleasure, and it's like they're not really ascending anywhere. But Kubrick is showing that it is real. Like people just like this, it is real, but it's just a farce. Like the real magic is when they do the actions of killing somebody, of being anointed by the blood, of
Right.
banging the whore of Babylon instead of just each other in robes. And in this ritual at the end, he drinks blood. It's a very viscous fluid. They don't say exactly that it's blood, but he keeps it in a coffee thermos, and it's like it pours out very thick like blood. And he drinks that, and he's reading the pages, and it's not like he needs to read them. He just has them all together, because and this is the moment where he's coming down the steps and he says, what did you expect, an apparition? Because he's reading, and the book summons the Prince of Darkness.
Right. So it's him.
It's him. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the joke. Yeah.
So that's the insides thing of the whole thing. See, I never had that realization that Depp was the character following the engravings.
That's
I
crazy.
didn't get that until you said that. Now it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
He's searching, but he's really the one following it.
Exactly.
So he's searching and following at the same time.
Right. And like the fool in the path of the tarot starts at, the fool doesn't know anything. It doesn't have any ideas of where he's planning on going, or it's a fool, totally stupid to the plan. And then the magician, and then it goes along, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess the magician is the end at the top, or Kether. But so like it starts from Malkuth, but the fool is 0, so it starts at 0 of having nothing. And then as he progresses, he attains that will to want to pass through the gate. He has to go through all the initiation in order to get to the point in his mind where he's ready for that step of going through into the light,
Right.
That's great.
Oh man. So he gets burnt to a crisp, and he actually has the 3 things on his eyes, on his cheek too. I think it's actually a Hebrew letter. What they're doing is putting a Hebrew letter on this thing.
I think, the like the Monster drink.
Yeah.
That soda.
Same type of thing, yeah.
That's the Hebrew letter 6. And so it's 3 6s. Some people say that that's like the nail that nailed Jesus, and there's 3 nails, or
they
whatever.
just stopped the stream. They say it's a copyright issue.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, can you believe it?
Is it still recording though, right?
Yeah, it's still recording.
Okay, good. So that's the problem. That's why I didn't I was thinking maybe should we just show still pictures?
Yeah, I should have shown still pictures.
Yeah,
That's the first time that's happened to me. So
I'm sorry.
That's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Okay.
Fault.
Yeah, Hollywood hates that shit. They don't want us, excuse my language again. Hollywood hates that stuff, and they don't want us to understand what the real,
Well,
they
that could be it too. I mean, I think they think that I'm ripping off their movie, which is
oh yeah, they think you're making money and that you're using copyright. But this is obviously it is you are discussing the movie. It's free use because
fair
you're
use. Yeah.
fair use because you're discussing it. It's like this is like a school, like a class. We're teaching about it. We're not actually trying to make money from it or whatever. So in any case,
just to let people know, if I do get kicked off this channel, you can find all of my interviews and stuff are on, iTunes or anything. That's really where the majority. Not everything shows up at YouTube. So I'll do interviews with somebody else, and I'm not going to put them on YouTube. They're going to go to my podcast. So that's really the best place to look for anything is to.
They can find your podcast at William Ramsey Investigates.
William Ramsey Investigates, where I have everything. So
William.com.
Sometimes, like I got kicked off for just mentioning the coof. Like not really. It wasn't even a main issue, but they said it was medical misinformation.
So
YouTube is very evil. I don't know what's going on with it. So
I don't even try to post on YouTube. I put all my stuff on Odyssey, BitChute, Rumble.
If it was easier to stream somewhere else, I would do it. I tried to go to Rockfin, but I sent them something, but I don't know what, it just.
You need approval.
Memory hole.
Yeah. I think you need approval for that. And
I have to get approval from somebody at Rockfin.
I think you have to apply to be on Rockfin. And they don't want
I just sent something in.
Be on there. I mean, you're well more qualified than many people that are on there now. So I mean, it's
anyway.
true.
Maybe I'll end up there. I'll probably end up there at sometime.
That's good. But I mean, BitChute and Odyssey. Odyssey's good, and BitChute because it's saved on the blockchain, and it can't be erased. It's there forever. And with Odyssey, the people can download whatever episodes, so that if something happens to the internet, you can have it downloaded on your personal, hard drive, and you can watch it anytime you want. I like that idea.
Well, everything that I do, this YouTube channel is set up on Odyssey and what is the other one? And Rumble. So once I'm done with this, it automatically gets distributed. Beautiful. So if you see something on this, you can go to Rumble. You can go to Odyssey and Rumble and just watch the same thing. It's really up to you. I just find that this stream is the easiest for me to do.
Right. Yeah, they make it easy. So that's how they get you.
They make it easy and then they punish you. But this stream actually goes to Twitter, goes to Facebook. Good. So, this is live.
That's great. Well. Yeah, and you've got so much on your website there that and I subscribe with RSS to your podcast so that I hear the audio every time. Whenever you put anything out, it's effective and helpful.
RSS kids, RSS. I did change my feed from Spreaker to Megaphone. I moved to Spotify, so if anybody also hears this, you just have to type in William Ramsey Investigates, and you can get a new RSS feed. So if your feed isn't working, that's the reason why. I didn't get kicked off of anything. I just moved. Yeah,
Spotify has been putting a lot of commercials, or not Spotify, the other one, Spreaker. Has been having commercials for it was the Coof commercials for to get
to get jabbed
for traveling, and you have to get jabbed for travel, and planning on a Vermont vacation, and then they start talking about the jab, and it's just like, and they have
total scam, dude.
They have glyphosate commercials. They got commercials for Roundup and stuff. It's just evil.
The corporate media is totally evil. Do you know that 70% of the advertising for TV news is pharmaceuticals?
Oh,
it's
right.
Just pure pharmaceuticals. That's all they're doing is selling pharmaceuticals.
Exactly.
Do you think you're going to get some honest thing?
In the old days, they were selling war and fear, and now they're just
they're selling war, fear, and pharmaceuticals. They're selling everything. I have no idea what's going on in Russia. I don't know.
Right.
I don't.
I try not to look, man.
Yeah, I don't even look
because I know it's part of the plan. It's part because the whole thing is it's going off the rails. So they need to use war to bring it back in line. Of course, it's all part of the plan, and even those the previous they had that Event 201, and they had the other thing there, the spars. And during the spars thing, they were going to have war after. It was like part of the, with the lockstep also. I forget, it's kind of all jumbled in my head. But war was part of one of the plans that they were preparing for the rollout of this New World Order,
Right.
Yeah.
You ready to take a question, Sean?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love that.
Ephemeral Shine said, is there redemption in the story of the natural law fool? Or is it like Bitter Moon where everyone ends up shot dead on a bed? I don't know what Bitter Moon is.
I don't know what Bitter Moon is, but I think Dead on a Bed relates to Johnny Depp's first movie where he was in Nightmare on Elm Street, and he was in a bed and he was swallowed up and there was a bunch of blood. But anyway, so there is redemption in natural law to learn the true understanding of morality and the way that that our souls are to operate in this world. There is redemption. Like if someone that starts out in a beast mentality can learn and change their actions and do good in the world, I think that there is redemption in that. Natural law fool, I guess, is that the tarot fool taking the path of natural law that might relate. I mean, I guess that might be, but I don't know what Bitter Moon is. And
I don't either. Do you know what this film reminded me of just now was, oh no, I can't even remember it. It's another satanic, Angel Heart. Do you remember Angel Heart?
Angel Heart.
Or like it's the boxer guy. I can't remember. Mickey Rourke. Is that right? Mickey Rourke.
Oh, they took my thumbs, Charlie. Is that the one where they?
No, well, maybe that's it. But like it's like a ritual, but he's progressing, trying to find out the real story of what happened, and then.
And I'll have to look that up.
And there's people being killed on the way, and then he realizes at the end, and Satan takes his soul.
Huh.
So it's kind of, I don't know. It's somewhat similar.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look up Angel Heart. I've actually done some. I've done some research. Angel Heart is very occult. It's just like the Ninth Gate. I mean, everything's occultism. There's a black hand, and all kinds of like elite Satanists. Like this, you get the Boris Balkan. He's really like an elite, illuminated Satanist type, not just like the garden variety Satanist.
Yeah, and he's in that big building, Balkan Press, and he does newspapers. You know what I mean? He's part of the.
He's part of the occult elite.
Exactly, and they put the newspaper they're occulting the truth by giving us fake news. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's been since the beginning of newspapers is, mind control of the masses, and that's what the high occultists, the dark occultists do.
No doubt, they're doing it right now. So. Yeah. I mean, we're in it. I think this movie is really important. Your analysis is really great. So
thank you.
There's a lot of stuff in there. So I highly recommend people check out your other Odyssey station channel, which has the Occult Kubrick and the Butterfly Net, which I haven't watched. And then tell them about your podcast, Wake the Dead.
Oh yeah, Wake the Dead. I've had it for about a year now, and I talk about. I like to focus on mind control, the occult, mainly the type of themes that are in this film. Try to understand what the dark occultists of society are doing to us. Try to understand the nature of mind and the nature of the reality around us. So basically, my conversations go anywhere and everywhere. But really what interests me, I guess. And I'm an anarchist. And so I'm not fooled by the left, right, but I'm not fooled by politics, so I come from that perspective of, and I'm not an atheist or anything. Like I understand the creator, and so I have this, I guess I have this perspective where I'm trying to grasp at the truth and the reality and trying to understand what it is. And so Wake the Dead is the dead is the people around us that are unbegun, the unawakened, just the dead, basically, the walking dead.
Right, the walking dead, yeah.
Right, the people that
leave the dead to bury their dead. That's what Christ said.
Yes. And so
But he was using the same terminology 2,000 years ago that people have today.
right.
You know, it's like,
And
hey,
and
let the
the
dead bury
occult
their dead.
uses that. They call us the dead until we have an awakened consciousness where we use our thought, our emotion, and our will. If we engage all three of those things, then we become considered an awakened soul, right? And so to wake the dead is to help people to get to that point where they can recognize morality and and resolve the emotion, and to recognize the knowledge pieces of what what is actually happening, and then the action of doing right action and speaking the truth and the morality, the natural law to others. And so I've been down the rabbit holes for like 20 years, well, 15 probably years now. And so like I've taken in all this information, and like this, my podcast gives me an avenue to speak it out again. And it's become like, as I'm going along, I'm becoming more fluent and more confident in my abilities. And so I think each one gets a little better. And so I've been doing it for a year now, and you can find it on uh I'm featured on the One Great Work Network, and you can find that onegreatworknetwork.com. And that's run by Mark Passio, who is a colleague of mine, a peer and I've worked with him in the past, and he's invited me onto his network. So there's a lot of others, a lot that I'm alongside, big names like James Corbett and like Larkin Rose, other anarchists, and to other people like myself who are just starting, who understand what's happening. So I'm thankful that he features me there. You can find all my work on onegreatworknetwork.com, and I'm under the creators section. And if you click there, you'll find links to all my, like, I have a page there where I post everything that I've created in the last year. And I also have, you can find me on Wake the Dead on Odyssey and BitChute and Rumble. And I'm also on Spotify and many of the audio podcast venues. And you can get an RSS feed from anchor.fm/Sean.McCann. I think it's Sean.McCann. Either that or Sean
MCCANN, right?
MCCANN, yes. Irish version of Sean, SEAN, yes. So
and if people want to reach out to you, do you have social media on Twitter, or how can they contact
you can email me. I've got a website, or I mean on my page there's a donate button, and there's a link for an email where you can email me at 93.wakethedead.com. Use 93. I had to come up with a number, and 93 has a good meaning, but don't think I'm a Thelemite. I'm not really related to Crowley, but it's tough to find a Wake the Dead that's not already taken. So I had to. So anyway, 93 is about ascension, and it's about going from beast consciousness to an enlightened consciousness. So it's a fitting number. But anyway, don't hold that against me. Send me an email. I love talking to people that have other ideas. I love talking to people that just want to say hello. I desperately would need donations. I would love donations, but there's no obligation. All my work is for free. But I work 6 days a week in a factory, and I have a family, and so it's tough.
Everybody needs to pay the bills. So
right.
We're all in the same boat. And again, so it's Sean McCann, Wake the Dead podcast, and I'll put the links in the show notes of this show when it goes out. So thanks so much for your time, Sean.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
All right, stay there.